boys!
Get down on your knees.
Fuck him up! We got gold!
He was a Finnish commando. He lost his home and his family in the war. He became a one-man death squad. He's one mean motherfucker that you do not want to mess with.
Fire! You'll see what happens when you take everything from him.
You really believe that he's immortal?
No, he just refuses to die.
How many mines did we bury here?
All of them.
You? And you?
This is not about who's the strongest. This is about not giving up. We have a word for that in Finland.
Sisu!
We might have a problem.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Ready Speaker. I am your host, Roland LaRucci, and we're doing a film review. Going to a film from Finland this time. It's a 2022 film. It is called Sisu. I think that's how you pronounce it in Finnish. It's I forgot the thing. It's something. It means someone with extreme determination or something like that. So a little thing from the IMDb blurb is when a soldier who discovers gold in the Lapland wilderness tries to take the loot into the city, Nazi soldiers led by a brutal SS officer battle him. The director is Jalmari Helander. Writer Jalmari Helander. Stars Jorma Tomila, Axel Henny, and Jack Doolan. So, how do you feel about this after you just saw that trailer? It's kind of interesting. Production value is good. Interesting shots. Scenery is very different. It's in Finland, so that's kind of cool. The storyline, is it really historically correct? I don't know if Nazis were really that brutal that far up. They might have been brutal. I don't know. There's discussion about that. They kind of liked that Baltic Finland region, so that they feel like that the Aryan race sort of came from there a little bit. So I don't know about that. I don't know if there was an SS battalion or squad up there doing stuff. So there's some not graphic, but some rough details of it, the way this character is built, and this is played by, I'm going through it, Jorma Tomila is Atami, and he's this Finnish soldier who has a reputation of being this unstoppable force. And there are elements of that where we see him fighting the Nazis. And I mean, some of the stunts are kind of crazy, and it's almost like, B-move quality action. So if you like it, you like that kind of stuff, I would say you'll definitely watch it. It's almost all in English. There's just a little bit at the end that isn't in English, but it's almost all in English when they're speaking to each other. So the Germans are speaking to them in I guess a common language in this film, not in reality. In reality, they just be speaking German, but here they're doing it in English. I'm sure they're doing that for a wider audience so it can get out there. Axel Henny is Bruno, the SS man in charge, who's just beaten up and ragtag, and that's sort of where I don't know if it was true. Not that I'm saying, hey, we have to support what Nazis were, but ragtag is not one of the things they were. They were very, very much into fashion. Hugo Boss designed for them. The VW cars were made for them. VW is a remnant of Nazi Germany, and like I said, Hugo Boss. Porsche is a remnant. Porsche designed cars. The Beetle. So that's where that connection is, and they are holdovers from the Nazi regime that people forget about, but they were very much intertwined in that. And I know everybody's like, well, what else are they going to do? Well, really fashionable. So they're super into fashion. I don't know if they'll be as ragtag as they were. They have a small little I'm not going to say a convoy, but a group of soldiers heading through the area of Laplands, I guess that's what's called. And that's funny because there's actually like Laplands of Albania too, which sounds and things are always. I find it very interesting with languages. They sort of have the same sounds that mean something very similar, like in other regions. And there's no relation really with the language, but it's kind of interesting how people, we make certain sounds and just they click with a lot of peoples. And they're going there with a tank, I think a truck of captured women they're using as their Joy Division. So you can look that up when you want to, but I don't want to really get into that detail. But there's a truck full of women they're using forcibly for their Joy Division. So that's a horrific element to it. It's kind of like, rough. And it shows the brutality, I guess, and that was intentional with the story, to show the brutality of a group like the Nazis. The way it's set, it could be in the future. And that's almost how I saw it. I saw it as something like, hey, the world's gone crazy. This guy is battling people. It's very Mad Max. It's very, it's also superhero-like. There's moments of Captain America in it, where he's fighting off things and he's just being like so rough and super powered. He doesn't. There's some Rasputin in it where he's just not dying ever. Like he just can't die. I think there's a line in it that's not that you can't kill him. He just refuses to die. That's said by one of the women. I think Mimosa Willamo, who plays Aino. I know I'm doing a little accent. That's actually the way they're spelled. It actually forces you to sort of, lift the letters a little bit or lower them a little bit or, deliver them a little bit different. So it's kind of interesting. And I think phonetically it actually works really well to do their accent, to sort of say the name right, which I think we should probably do more with names. Write them the way they should be said, not the way we imagine they'd be said or import sounds incorrectly. Another story. So so there's definitely superhero elements of it. There's definitely some fun B-movie, schlock, FX in it, which is kind of crazy. The premise, why not? It's the same premise. He has a goal. It's really about gold. It's about getting his money. It's not really about nationalism. It's not about even saving the women. He sort of gives them a chance to empower themselves. It's really about him getting his gold. And it's a little bit of John Wick. There's a dog involved, which I kind of find it interesting. That has become like a movie trope now, where somebody's, saving a dog. Better than saving their kid, which seems to be the 2022, 2023 theme for like movies of cause for heroes. This is pure greed. It's pure greed. The guy wants his money. He wants to keep the gold. The Nazis want the gold. They sort of chase after him. They shouldn't chase after him because he's doing the John Wick thing. And nothing good happens for them. A lot of bad happens for him as well, but nothing good happens for them. So it's all these crazy moments that sort of culminate into a superhero, storyline for me. Like I said, there's elements of Captain America in it. There's, even the physicality, the strength he has. So there's all these mythic elements, components into it that are folded into the storytelling. I think that's kind of interesting. Again, shot really well. I think the DP did a great job. Some great scenery stuff. Some interesting costume design. Some interesting makeup. I think some of the characters might be too much of a caricature. And I think that pulls me out of it a little bit. Not that everybody needs to be handsome. And maybe that's something I'm kind of drawn into because of American cinema. That they kind of put everybody as good-looking people. And I forget that in other kinds of cinema and theater in other countries, it's about the character development, not necessarily about the look. The look always works. It's just the character is more important than the look, and I think that's the opposite in America, film and theater. That the look is more important than anything else. And if you fit the look, you're good. But if you can deliver, it's not as important. Like, it's great you can, it's a plus, but they'll edit around it. So I would say give this movie a watch. I think it's a fun movie. It's something that you probably haven't seen. It's stories that sort of remind you. Well, it's a story that reminds you of other stories, and that's kind of fun. If you like action films, if you like something that just moves, I don't think it's really that long. I think it was an hour and change. Let me see what it was here. It's an hour and 31 minutes, so perfect length just to enjoy it. The poster's kind of cool. If I can find one, it's kind of interesting. So it's a very graphic novel. I guess that's what it sort of is. It's like a graphic novel. Which John Wick is and all the other things are. They're elements of like graphic novel culture, and I think that's what this plays like. It plays like a cinematic graphic novel, which I kind of liked. So again, give it a watch. Give it a watch. I think it's worth it. I think it's definitely worth some time. It's streaming right now. It's when you watch this, it probably will be streaming, and you can find it. You might have to rent it, but I think it's renting right now. But it's going to probably be streaming soon. So I would say for a non-American film, it's a fun watch. It's a worthwhile investment to sit down at home and watch it. Watch it with the family, I guess, and enjoy it. Watch it by yourself with a beer if you want to enjoy it. Watch it with somebody from Finland. I don't know. Maybe that'll be kind of cool. Otherwise, that's it for me, Roland DeRucci with Ready Speaker. Please like, subscribe, share, come back. We can talk about movies again. You can convince me I'm wrong about a movie. I'd love to have somebody come on here and say, you're wrong about this movie, let me tell you why. And let's really discuss it and really go deep down to a movie. All right, that's all, folks. Goodbye.